How you doing, guys? Just want to give you a quick market update on, I suppose, mainly the Dublin market, first quarter of 2019. We're afraid probably to say this out loud because obviously with Brexit looming and with other things maybe that there's uncertainty out there, the market is very good at the moment. We were just going through the figures there yesterday. There's more properties coming on the market, people trading up, people trading down, people moving nearly sidewards, they're moving to different counties or whatever it is. There's a good vibe out there, and I think there's a lot of factors that are driving this. Obviously this time of the year there's probably more exemptions from the banks there, so there's more loan approval, there's more people that have money. Obviously the banks have changed that around a little bit, and obviously they put time limits on those exemptions, so I don't think we're going to have the same effect that we did last year, where a lot of people had exemptions and they used them up in the first half of the year, and then the bank ran out of exemptions. So I think what's going to happen there is it'll be more leveled out this year than all of a sudden having the first 6 months crazy and the second 6 months quieter. But so far so good. Market is performing very, very well. Again, I suppose like my earlier prediction video there a couple of months ago, the lower end of the market, up to 300,000 up to 285,000 is performing very, very well. It's I suppose where most people can afford to buy houses. They're getting very good prices. On I think 97% of our properties that we've sold in that price bracket have had more than 3 bidders on those properties for each property that we've sale agreed since 1st of January. So it's a little bit crazy, to be honest. Like I said, the upper end of the market, again, just sale agreed a property there in Glasnevin, and 550,000 was the price. It sold for 620. There was around 7 people bidding on it. There was around 35 people that viewed it. Difference with this property was it was in turnkey condition. So again, you would say that's kind of an upper, higher end market. It's above the level what a lot of people can afford. So the market is performing very, very well. The Brexit thing hasn't really kicked in yet. I think everyone's afraid to talk about it because it is a tempting fate. But I think there normally would be a fear in the market, but there hasn't been a fear in the market yet. Again, I don't want to tempt it, but again, the Brexit thing hasn't really had an effect yet. So do I see it having an effect? Obviously it's still looming there. They're looking at extending it out to the summertime now, or whatever the hell is going to happen over there. It's not having an effect, and it's crazy to say that. I think everyone is afraid to mention it, and everyone was kind of saying, look, we have to be aware of it, but it's nothing is happening with it so far. The market, if anything, is busier in the last year than it has ever been in the last I suppose 7 or 8 years. Rental market, I think, is having a massive effect on that there as well, because again, prices they're creeping up and creeping up and creeping up. The stock levels are going down. We've a lot of landlords, I suppose, that have maybe 1 property or whatever, 2 properties. They're not really landlords. They were maybe got stuck with the whole negative equity thing, or they're accidental landlords that are selling up. They're obviously pissed off with the whole rental market thing in relation to the over-regulation and obviously the high taxation. They all got big tax bills there in November, and they're normal people, they can't afford it. They're paying big mortgages, and all of a sudden they're paying big tax bills as well. So a lot of these people are getting out of the market, and you can see the rental market. What was it? I think there was nearly 2,000 landlords, private landlords, sold up there last year. So we can't be really losing those figures, but that's obviously having an impact there because the rents are going up and up and up, and you see it every day where people are paying 16, 17, 18, 1900 rent for a 3-bed semi. they could obviously buy that property and be paying a mortgage of 900 to maybe 1,000, 1,100 euros. So it obviously makes sense to be buying that property. And again, I think that's what's driving the market there at the moment. People obviously see that, and it's costing too much money to rent. I think the market is going to continue to. I think it's going to continue to be a great year. This year, it looks that way. Obviously, we don't have prices really jumping up over 300,000. That market is a lot slower. And that's a good thing, I think. We don't want prices all of a sudden going up 10% or whatever at that price level. I think a small growth obviously will go. Obviously, you're saying, contradicting yourself, talking about the Glasnevin property. That Glasnevin property that we sold was turnkey condition. She bought that a number of years ago and basically spent a fortune on it, renovating it. So again, young couples, families were interested in buying that because they could move into it straight away and not spend any money. It was extended. It was just turnkey condition. Whereas in, we've other properties there not so far away from that one, and you wouldn't see 80, 100 grand put into it, and get numbers through the doors, but obviously the offers wouldn't be as good as other properties that we're selling, because people, with the central bank rules, people can't obviously afford that extra 100 grand. But anyway, the sum up, market is going very, very well. No issues with it at all so far. If you have any other questions, don't hesitate to give